Good morning, guys. Just like last night was a late night read, this is an early morning read. I don't even have my coffee yet, but I wanted to dig into this. You know what today is? Today is Friday the 13th. So I want to do a reading about the history of Friday the 13th. Is Friday the 13th really cursed? I'm going to play a video clip about Friday the 13th, the history that goes back to the Knights of the Templar. Yeah. So let's get to it. Disclaimer notice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. All information in this video is not based on fact. It is all alleged, based upon my intuition, my opinion, what I believe my tarot cards are telling me. I encourage each and every one of you to do your own research, form your own opinions. After all, I'm just a blonde throwing cards.
Believe it or not, there's some statistical evidence which suggests that more bad things happen on Friday the 13th than any other day of the year. But is it really cursed? And if so, how? Although it would seem that the public's awareness of Friday the 13th really came of age in modern times, as it turns out, the origin of this curse actually dates back to the 14th century.
It goes back, in my opinion, to what happened to the Knights Templar. So the Knights Templar were founded in the 12th century, and they were the world's first combination of warrior and monk. They were the guardians of a lot of the treasures of various kings and popes and monarchs. And because of their amazing reputation, they became known as the world's first international bankers.
Friday the 13th was such a pivotal day in the life of the Knights Templar that it ended one chapter and began another. It literally was the day of the destruction of the order. And the Friday the 13th that was so critical to the Knights Templar happened on the 13th of October in 1307. The King of France needed money, but he owed money to everybody, including the Templars, and he decided the Knights Templar had money, he wanted it, so he attacked them. Everyone was arrested, people were thrown in jail, they were tortured, they were being killed. Then there were long trials. These trials were conducted by the Catholic Church, and it basically ended with the death of Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master.
Jacques de Molay was a powerful, enigmatic figure, and so it was important for the church and the crown to execute him publicly to show as an example. And when they were burning Jacques de Molay, fire was being lit. He cursed Pope Clement and also King Philip and said, within this year, you will die. And lo and behold, they did.
What happened was, within 33 days, the Pope died of a terrible illness, and all of a sudden it just seized him and killed him just like that, suddenly. 7 months later, the King of France was on a hunting expedition, had a massive stroke, fell down dead on the ground right there.
In the years since the Templars' eventual exile from Europe, there were many who began to believe that Jacques de Molay's death curse applied not only to his enemies, but also to the very day that spelled the beginning of the end for the Knights Templar, the day they were arrested, Friday the 13th.
Okay, I want to know, I'm using a past life deck. Only to see a little bit of history of this alleged curse of Friday the 13th. Ship's imprisonment. Holy shit. I shit you not. There's their ships. There's the imprisonment. Wow. So this curse started, and this is reminding me of Knights of the Templar and the imprisonment of Jacques. Okay? Wow, this deck came out swinging, didn't it? Anything else? I can't make this shit up. Knighthood. Knights of the Templar. The slaughter. The imprisonment. I can't make this shit up. And it goes to, I don't know what love life is about. That could be the love of the natives, and there's also a connection. I didn't read this, to Native American. I'm curious about the love life. I'm not sure what that is, but we will find out. Oh, Atlantis. Under the deck, we got Atlantis, and we got baby, and we got persecution. Wow. Okay. So, there's different cultures. It's not just Knights of the Templar. But it started back with Atlantis. And persecution. Infancy. Okay. What my guides are telling me, that there is some kind of truth to this Friday the 13th curse. But the beginning, the infancy of the persecution of people of Atlantis for their love of their native people. Okay? But Native America is also being triggered. And then there was the imprisonment of Knights of the Templar. So, this has been a curse that's been passed around. But it feels like the Knights of the Templar was not the beginning. It started with Atlantis. Atlantis happened prior, long time prior to Knights of the Templar. In fact, I'm going to pause the video for a second. I want to look up when Atlantis might have come about. So that tells me that this curse has been around a hell of a long time. Okay, let's see if we could get anything else. I've got a few oracle cards. This is Oracle of the Oddities. There's 3 decks here. There were 3 volumes, all with different cards. They were like sets of 20. They were expensive, but I've had them for years. I don't even think, like when I got them, they were going out of print, or they may have just went out of print. So I don't think this deck is available anymore. You can look, Oracle of the Oddities. Okay, how is Atlantis connected to this? It feels like Atlantis is where the original curse started from. According to my cards, water, awaken, and eternity. Holy shit. Okay, let me move these down a little bit. Okay. I never know how much room I'm going to need with these. What I'm getting, we've got the water. Atlantis went under the sea, according to legend, according to the stories. And I'm thinking when Atlantis was buried or covered up, it awakened a certain curse, or a certain curse that was put on the land for all eternity. That's interesting. Okay. Where do Knights of the Templar fit in? In recent times, I think that was the most recent documentation of any kind of curse or anything like that on Friday the 13th. But to me, my cards are saying it originated in Atlantis. Union. There were 2 people. If you noticed in that video, there were a couple people tied to that stake that was being burned, including Jacques. Feeling. That's the hand. Sorrow. And divinity. There's something really weird going on. Something got triggered in another room. I hear like a recording. Hold that thought. I wish you could have heard that. That was my Amazon device. It starts with an A. You know, the Alexa. I don't want to say it because I don't want to trigger it. But I did not say her name. She came on and was talking about Knights of the Templar. And that was really weird. I have to say that was weird. And we have divinity. There is some kind of supernatural thing here. Because it was also alleged that Jacques, I'm not going to say his last name because it's eluding me, de Lejour or something like that, that he was some kind of sorcerer. That he had the ability to put curses on people. And there was a lot of sorrow, feeling pain. And it goes beyond the physical pain when it comes to the Knights of the Templar. And his divinity, that's his spiritual power. He pointed his finger. And in the process, it created a curse. Yes, if you're new to my channel, I am a dog mom. You're going to hear puppies. Well, Daisy's going to be a year old next month. And then I've got a 2.5-year-old Dalmatian. Daisy's a Great Pyrenees. Daisy is my barker. Okay. Anyhow, let's go further. Let's see what this deck. This is an astrology deck. I was looking for a different deck. My Atlas deck. Let's just see what comes up with the astrology. I pulled it for a reason. Show me this energy. Ninth house of exploration. Ninth house is also the house of higher learning. And I think this is going back to Atlantis, having higher knowledge. And the ninth house also represents religious beliefs. Knights of the Templar. That's where this is all originating from. This is telling me, I think there's some validity to this. Sagittarius with Mars. Expand. Exploration. And so what this is telling me was the Sagittarius energy is expanding, and I'm not reading it as a time frame per se, but I'm reading it more as expanding their territory through, yes, aggression. We know that much as well. Capricorn and achieved. So the Knights of the Templar, and I'm also feeling that the Mars is aggression. He is the planet of war. That, okay, when Jacques was burned to the stake, and he put that curse on the king, and the other guy that died mysteriously, 33. 33 is an important number. 33 is how old Christ was. Just saying. Just saying. When Christ was crucified, it's all connected. Through Atlantis, the crucifixion of Christ, and the Knights of the Templar. I'm hearing God's anointed. Anointed. So this curse has expanded, and the exploration is reminding me, if you look at this card, almost like a nautical, a wheel, and there's a map behind it. It expanded through different parts of the world, through the whole world, and has achieved a certain level of aggression, a certain level of fear, fighting for what happened and the injustice. South Node, past. I shit you not, I used a past life oracle. And the past is still haunting today. And I did get this deck. I did find my Atlas deck. See what messages are in this. Anything from this deck? reconciliation, a union, merging, and repairing. The curse will not stop until there is a repair or an acknowledgement of some sort. It almost feels like his persecutors, like the king, that was greedy, that wanted the Knights of the Templars' money. There's something there about the king. Though the king did die, as Jacques said he would. Water, cleansing subconscious and emotions. A sense of calm can be achieved even in the roughest of the seas if you have compassion for the waves. That's interesting. But as I was saying, I just got this feeling of Dutton. He's starting again. Basically, he wanted outside. But anyhow, I was getting this feeling of there's some atonement that king has to do in another incarnation that has yet to be done. I'm being told that king, when he comes back as another powerful person. Are you shitting me? My guys just told me Hitler. He came back as Hitler and did that persecution based on religion, etc. He had not learned his lesson, so the curse continues. It could continue for another 500 years. If this earth survives 500 years. That's just what I was told. So this soul of this king, Hitler, stuff accumulated additional karma. Feminine, the moon. And the moon also represents illusions, psychic, and spirituality. So this curse is very, very spiritually based. And somebody not learning their lesson, the rose. But there are certain people, certain anointed or certain light workers who are under a certain spiritual protection when it comes to this curse. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Now I want to get out some tarot. This deck is, I forget the name of it, but it's an extremely old deck as far as, like, they claim that this is the original tarot that was put out in like 1600s or something like that in France. The images were depicted from a famous artist. I don't remember all the names, but because it's connected to France, Knights of the Templar connected to France, this king and stuff, all this shit starting in France, well, in recent times, out next to Atlantis, that I thought this deck was appropriate. Okay. And I just woke up this morning and it hit me. It's Friday the 13th. And then the idea just popped in my head. I need to do an idea about the curse of Friday the 13th. Okay. Is this curse a real curse? This looks like it is. I'm looking for confirmation. This is the moon in reverse. Things being revealed, people waking up. It is not an illusion. Some people out there might say, oh, it's all in your head. It's just an illusion. It's just another date. In the reverse is telling me things, deep-seated things that were buried in recent times, especially. I would say in the last 100 years, really coming up to light. Then we have the Six of Cups in the Nine of Cups in the reverse. And this curse exists still because of ill-intended wishes and desires. The desire for power that Lovers in the reverse, and that breaks people apart, disagreements and discord. Man, all these reverse cards. And then we have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Not learning the lesson. This is why this curse keeps going on. The curse has not been broken. Because mankind has not learned their lesson. There's a lesson of humility. And we've got the love. And love that is not being learned. Nine of Swords in the reverse. A nightmare you cannot wake up from. Or you're not waking up from. Knight of Chalices in the reverse. The lack of love. The lack of humility. Six of Wands. To have victory over this curse. Humanity needs to get back to their spiritual roots. According to this over here. King of Pentacles. But the love of money, the love of power, the love of greed. Is where and getting back and grounding oneself. Now there's a truth. Okay, the truth. But having victory over the flesh, I just heard, having victory over the flesh is where the victory lies. Overcoming the flesh is where the victory lies. There's this element of getting back to the spiritual self. Page of Swords in the reverse. The Page of Swords in the reverse is in the upright is watching, spying, it's conversations. In the reverse is negative conversations. So there's still a disbelief here. Or it could be silence. Tell me more. Page of Cups. The giving of one heart. Now this Page of Cups does not have a fish in it. So it is an offering. An offering of love that allows humanity to move forward. Eight of Pentacles. To move forward towards working on ourselves and then the karma will be fulfilled. And the curse being blocked. Two of Swords. And so what I'm getting is the act of humanity, the act of spirituality. That is where we as humans here on earth are falling short. The lack of love, the lack of humility, the lack of spirituality. Losing touch with our higher selves. Now there is an awakening that is happening. We've been seeing this for a while. Okay? The curse is very, very real and continues on until humanity learns. Till humanity ascends from this energy. I just want to get a few more cards before I cut this reading off. There weren't a whole lot of questions that I had with this reading. I basically want to know where this curse came from, which I found that out. But I'm more so, is this a legit thing? Is Friday the 13th truly a cursed day? Or was it all this about statistics show that Friday the 13th has been very, very unlucky day. A lot of things, bad things happen on Friday the 13th. I wanted to know if there was something to it or if it was just coincidence. But what I'm getting is that this curse is very real. It is very real. And Jacques was a sorcerer. You know, even the sword. I'm just getting sorcery all over this in the past. Okay. There, you know, the goblins and humanity gotta hit rock bottom. Humanity has to hit rock bottom before things will change. And when they hit rock bottom, they gotta start making the right decision towards awareness, awakening, spirituality. Protecting treasure. The protecting treasure to me is talking more about the physical realm, the physical belongings, the money over love. Ride the wave, a talisman. This is a sign. We're getting signs in nature. A lot of water, if you think about it. With hurricanes, flooding, all this is reminding me of natural disaster type thing. But there is peace or something to learn. There's a lot of torment right now. And this is a sign. Trying to get our attention to come together in unity. This is to unify humanity. Flying. That reminds me of angels, angelic realm. That reminds me of flying together, coming together in another realm, another higher dimension. And Gentle Gardener is, we are the cultivators of our land, of our lives. Field of Dreams. People are being spoken to in their dreams. Balancing act. As we try to balance these energies and get them back, getting a sense of peace and balance here. So this Friday the 13th curse, it's more than just cursing humanity. It's more about, okay, there is a sense, I don't want to say revenge. Not revenge on Jacques' part, or even the people of Atlantis. Our world would be so much more advanced if, I'm getting a lot of persecution around Atlantis. I can imagine we would probably be in flying ships right now, flying all over the cosmos. Cancer probably would not even be a thing. I'm just saying. This is what I'm the downloads I'm getting. Cancer would not even exist. All these wars would not be going on. We would be very technically advanced. A vacation to us would not be a vacation to the beach. It would be a vacation to some other universe. Maybe it would take 8 hours to get to that other universe, and 2 seconds to get from across the country. You see what I'm saying? We missed out on a lot of advancements because of what happened to Atlantis. And in addition to that, that's where the curse began, with the persecution. I feel like it was a Friday the 13th. Energy. Definitely. That's what I'm feeling like. But I'm not convinced. There was an energy put out there on humanity of learning about loss, and that they need to bring love into their life and into their situations. But the real curse happened with the Knights of the Templar. And Native Americans, I challenge you to go talk to some Native Americans, some Native Indians, and ask them what do they know about Friday the 13th. I might even do that to see how this aligns with this reading as well. But we got some messages from Spirit of how this curse can be broken. And it can be broken. This curse has been around for thousands of years. I'm feeling like there may have been a little bit of a break between Atlantis and the Knights of the Templar. But the Knights of the Templar, it just kind of reignited. I think the actual curse was Knights of the Templar. There was some energy going on, some karma associated with Atlantis. So, in actuality, it started with Atlantis, but came into full fruition with Knights of the Templar. Because it doesn't feel like Atlantis, their people would not curse anybody, despite their persecution. They were about love, and they loved life. Okay? And I think Friday the 13th was connected to Atlantis. And there was something in the spiritual realm associated with Atlantis. But it wasn't global. I'm being told it wasn't global. It was associated with certain people connected to the persecution and the demise of Atlantis. Okay? Now, then, several thousand years later, there's the Knights of the Templar, and what happened there, and Jacques spoke that curse. Native Americans are connected. They may even be protected. There might be a second level to this curse connected to the Native Americans, Because if you think about how were the Native Americans treated in history, very poorly. The pale faces, as they called us, we came in and took over their land. Now they only have these small little reservations. Destroyed their land, destroyed their traditions. So there's, for America, there is something with Friday the 13th connected to the Native Americans as well. That's what my guides are telling me. I don't know how we make amends with the Native Americans. But anyhow, that's what I have for today, for this morning. I love you all. And I think I'm done. This is where I'm going to be dropping the mic.